Hi folks, welcome to Sunday's Catechism. We are on question 18. I'll read it to you in a moment. You'll please forgive me, I'm a wee bit tired. I've been away with a group of Indonesian Presbyterians, mainly younger people, wonderful people. But one of the questions we had was, we had a lot of questions, and we were talking about bringing up children and young people in this world, and I was suggesting that this catechism is a great thing to do. And when we're talking about sin, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is our 6th. There are 7 questions on sin, and particularly Adam's first sin. And that's the reason that's so important. It's so important to get this right, is because we're dealing with human nature and the world as it is today. Not as it was before Adam fell, not as we would like it to be, but in reality. So we've seen that Adam and Eve fell because they disobeyed God. They ate the fruit. That all people sinned in Adam because we were all in Adam. That this brought us into a condition of sin and misery. And now we're on to question 18. Let's read that. Why is our fallen condition sinful? Our fallen condition is sinful because of original sin, which is the guilt of Adam's first sin, the lack of original righteousness, the corruption of his whole nature, and all actual sins which flow from original sin. Why is our fallen condition sinful? Our fallen condition is sinful because of original sin, which is the guilt of Adam's first sin, the lack of original righteousness, the corruption of his whole nature, and all actual sins which flow from original sin. Now, what that's saying about us is that when we are born in our condition, you and I, all of us, we carry the guilt of Adam's first sin. We don't have the original righteousness. We're not born righteous. And our nature is corrupt. And if you doubt that, there's no human being who doesn't sin and who hasn't sinned. And then all of the actual sins which flow from original sin. And there are plenty of them. So the scripture verses that are given are, for example, Romans 5:12. Therefore, just as sin entered the world through one man and death through sin, and in this way death came to all people because all sinned. We've already seen that. Romans 5:19. For just as through the disobedience of the one man the many were made sinners, so also through the obedience of the one man the many were made righteous. And that's incidentally telling us how we deal with sin, because we need to be in the one man, Christ. We looked in some detail at Romans 5:10 to 20, and it is worth reading it, because it talks about how, the difference between the sin and the gift. And then Ephesians 2, as for you, verse 1, you were dead in your transgressions and sin in which you used to live when you followed the ways of this world, and of the ruler of the kingdom of the air, the spirit who is now at work in those who are disobedient. All of us also lived among them at one time, gratifying the cravings of our flesh and following its desires and thoughts. Like the rest, we were by nature children of wrath. We are by nature. James 1:14, each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. Then after, as desire is conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. And then Matthew 15:19, for out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, and slander. Now you recall how in the parable of the sower, it talks about the seed falling on good soil. Well, this is a kind of reverse thing. The devil finds it remarkably easy to get us to sin because our nature is corrupted. We carry the guilt of Adam's sin. We don't have original righteousness. Our whole nature is corrupted. And therefore, all actual sins flow from that. Paul in Romans goes on to say, who's going to deliver me from this body of death? There's a sense in which a kind of determinism works. And what I mean by that is, people say, I can't help it. At one level, it's my nature. Yeah, well, yes, it is our nature, but our nature needs to be changed. And it's only something as radical as the new birth that actually does that. So, we've got to this stage where we're seeing that all human beings are born dead in sins and trespasses, are born with a corrupt nature. And it's that nature that needs to be changed. Government won't change it. Laws won't change it. Religions won't change it. The only thing that changes it is Christ sending his Spirit, us being born again, forgiven because of what he has done on the cross. Now you see, the gospel doesn't make sense until you get this bit right. Because once you get this bit right, you realize we need something so radical. We need, in effect, heart surgery. We need something so radical that only Jesus provides it. All right, we shall leave you there. And I think tomorrow, I'm not 100% sure yet, I'm going to try and start off our Look with Luke series. And yeah, join us for that. And if it's not tomorrow, we'll do it on Tuesday. And yeah, come back again next week for our Sunday Catechism. Bye.